and the United States last March. Under the central theme of emerging technologies and democracy, the summit sought to galvanize global action to counter AI-empowered misinformation, disinformation, and digital surveillance in order to uphold the foundations of democratic societies. We are also playing an integral part in shaping global conversations on the responsible use of AI in the military domain. Together with the Netherlands, we will be hosting the second summit on the responsible use of artificial intelligence in the military domain, or REAIM, in September. Korea is also an active contributor to other important fora, such as the OECD, G20, the Global Partnership on Artificial Intelligence, and the United Nations and its bodies. Against the plethora of governance initiatives, it is crucial that the international community coordinate these multiple efforts to avoid fragmentation and to strive for coherent and interoperable international governance framework. For we know very well that fragmentation leads to a patchwork of regulations. It complicates compliance for industries and creates ambiguities regarding the protection of civic rights, among others, in this new area. Reflecting this need, President Yoon Suk-yeol, during his visit to Paris in June 2023, advocated for digital ethics and governance on AI on a global level. This forum seeks to give further impetus to advancing this vision. We have designed the sessions that will follow to facilitate candid, face-to-face discussions with a particular emphasis on translating ideas into actions. I sincerely hope that today's forum will provide a timely platform to help the important stakeholders here to align on three common priorities of AI governance: innovation, safety, and inclusivity. By converging on common goals and making sure that we are moving in the same direction, our efforts as a whole will surely be greater than the sum of their parts. It is our sincere hope that the deliberations over the coming days will enable us to harness our collective wisdom to shape a coherent vision of global AI governance. Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you very much, the Minister. As His Excellency Minister mentioned, the AI Global Forum served as a vital platform for inclusive dialogue on AI, fostering frank discussions among diverse stakeholders. On that note, I would also like to offer thanks to all participants from diverse sections here for their presence. Thank you very much once again. And next, there will be the congratulatory remarks by His Excellency Han Duck-soo, the Prime Minister of the Republic of Korea. Please welcome him with a big hand.
Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, it is my great pleasure and honor to speak to you today at the AI Global Forum. The Republic of Korea is delighted to work together with all the participants to contribute to the global conversations on AI governance through not only the AI Global Forum, but also the AI Seoul Summit, a joint effort with Prime Minister Rishi Sunak and the government of the United Kingdom. I would like to thank the UK government, which has been our steadfast partner in the summit, as well as a great supporter of this forum. Let me begin by sharing with you a good news that the leaders attending the AI Seoul Summit announced the Seoul Declaration on Safe, Innovative and Inclusive AI last night. I believe this declaration will carry significant weight as a comprehensive vision for the emerging international AI governance. Indeed, safety, innovation, and inclusivity are the central themes of the AI Seoul Summit and the AI Global Forum. Safety is a priority. Safety strengthens public trust in AI. No one can deny that safety features are a critical element that determines the competitive edge and sustainability of AI models in the global market. Innovation is equally important. AI is expected to bring more breakthrough in scientific research, healthcare, financial service, education, and other public services. It will be our powerful tool in the global combat against climate change and our crucial ally in the pursuit of sustainable development goals. We cannot afford to have another AI winter. Inclusivity is also vital. We must make sure that various nations and stakeholders are represented in the global dialogue for AI governance. At technological and commercial level, we need to encourage developers to more effectively incorporate cultural and linguistic diversity into AI models. We also need to find ways to ensure that the benefits of AI are widely shared within a society and globally. When we take a step back, it becomes apparent that safety, innovation, and inclusivity are inherently intertwined. AI safety cannot be truly achieved until those who are the most vulnerable have access to necessary means to respond to threats and challenges posed by this new technology. Continued technological innovation is essential to effectively address difficult safety issues and ensure greater accessibility. As a government and regulator, it is our duty to promote those values in a balanced way that will benefit the society as a whole. Distinguished guests, the Republic of Korea is fully committed to contributing to the development of safe, innovative, and inclusive AI technologies for the benefit of its citizens and the global community. The Republic of Korea has worked closely with our partners to build a network of AI safety institutes. The Seoul Statements of Intent, adopted on the occasion of the leaders' session of the AI Seoul Summit, outlines the commitments of key countries for this collaboration. We have initiated efforts in technology sharing and capacity building in digital technologies. For example, starting this year, Korea is supporting the comprehensive digital transformation of ASEAN countries under the Korea-ASEAN Digital Innovation Flagship Projects. The Republic of Korea has actively supported various multilateral forums on AI governance, including the UN High-Level Advisory Body on AI, as well as the Global Partnership on AI. The vision guiding all such efforts of the Republic of Korea is found in our Digital Bill of Rights adopted last year. It is a charter setting forth our values and principles for a digital society of mutual prosperity with focus on freedom, fair access, innovation, safety, and trust. Let me assure you that the Korean government will continue to advance such values as principles in the field of AI technology in collaboration with all our partners at home and abroad. Distinguished guests, I hope that today's forum will serve as a critical platform for the international community to better understand the opportunities and challenges ahead in our joint endeavors for AI safety, innovation, and inclusivity. I look forward to a fruitful discussions on the common future that AI will bring. Thank you very much.
Thank you for your statement. His Excellency Prime Minister highlighted the significance of Seoul Declaration on safe, innovative, and inclusive AI governance adopted just last evening. Thank you very much once again. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we'll have the announcement of the Seoul AI Business Pledge, which is developed towards the responsible development, sustainable innovation, and equitable access to AI. Seoul AI Business Pledge was led by the Ministry of Science and ICT with support from Salesforce, KT, Microsoft, Samsung Electronics, Anthropic, SK Telecom, IBM, Naver, Korea, Kakao, OpenAI, Adobe. Yes, companies with full intent on cooperating for the safe utilization of AI. Now, His Excellency Lee Jong-ho, Minister of Science and ICT, will announce the Seoul AI Business Pledge on the stage. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome him.
Good morning. I am Minister of Science and ICT of the Republic of Korea. I am pleased to announce the Seoul AI Business Pledge at the AI Global Forum today in front of government, business, academic, and civil society representatives around the world. The Ministry of Science and ICT of the Republic of Korea, together with domestic and foreign technology companies, planned this pledge as a voluntary commitment containing the direction that companies will pursue for AI responsibilities, development, and benefit sharing in accordance with the vision of the Seoul Declaration. Domestically, Samsung Electronics, Naver, Kakao, LG AI Research, SK Telecom, KT. Internationally, Google, OpenAI, Microsoft, Anthropic, IBM, Salesforce, Cohere, and Adobe are joined. Let me briefly introduce the Seoul AI Business Pledge. For responsible development and use of AI, we pledge to strengthen collaboration with AI Safety Institute and take measures to identify content generated by AI, such as watermarking, and enhance cooperation to develop international standards. For sustainable development and innovation in AI, we pledge to invest in developing state-of-the-art AI models, systems, and collaborate with SMEs and startups through joint projects and funds, and foster cultivations of professional talent through internship and educational programs. For ensuring the equitable benefits of AI, we pledge to launch AI services for socially vulnerable groups and develop AI solutions to solve global challenges and promote diversity and inclusivity. This concludes the introduction of the Seoul AI Business Pledge. Thank you very much.
Why don't you give a big round of applause to cooperate with the safe utilization of AI? Thank you. Now we can't miss to take a commemorative photograph. We'd like to invite the Prime Minister, His Excellency Han Duck-soo, to the stage. Thank you. And we hope this event will be stepping stone, pinpointing the solid direction for the development of AI global governance framework. Now we'll take a photo. Please face the camera. 3, 2, 1. We'd like to take a photo once again. And once again, I would like to invite His Excellency, the Minister Cho Tae-yeol of Foreign Affairs. Now we'll take a commemorative photograph. 3, 2, 1. We'll take a photo one more time. We'll take a photo as we applaud. Thank you. Thank you very much. We would like to invite your sets back. Thank you. Yes, please return your sets. This is a memento to show that our government will join in on your promise to utilize AI focused on safety, innovation, and inclusivity. And also, thank you very much to celebrate this precious moment for all of us. Now, Your Excellencies, distinguished guests, will hear the keynote speeches by two of the most recognized leaders in AI globally. AI Global Forum is truly honored to have these two distinguished speakers with us today, despite of their very busy schedule. First keynote speech will be made by Dr. Andrew Ng. Dr. Andrew Ng is the Managing General Partner at AI Fund, a founder of Deep Learning AI, and an adjunct professor at Stanford University. I would like to Dr. Andrew Ng to the stage. He will present the first lecture with a topic of opportunity in AI. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome him with a big hand.
Thank you. Thank you very much for having me. And it's exciting to see the amazing progress made here in Seoul in AI just in the last couple of days. It's an exciting time of expansion for AI, and I look forward to chatting with you about it. One of the difficult things to understand about AI is a general purpose technology, meaning that it's not useful for just one or two things, it's useful for a lot of different applications. And in these 15 minutes, I hope to leave you with three messages. First, for businesses, that AI is a general purpose technology, and this gives us tons of opportunities to build exciting applications. And for governments, I hope to leave the message that it's important to distinguish between technology and applications, and to promote innovation and safety to regulate applications, not technology. And lastly, the Prime Minister spoke about the important topic of sustainability, and hope to share with you some exciting tech trends that allow us to keep building AI models, maybe in ways that seem more sustainable without as much electricity use, for example, as also how AI, I hope, can be a key piece of solving or addressing climate change. So first, for businesses, opportunities from a general purpose technology. AI has been around for a long time, but generative AI started to take the world by storm a couple of years ago, and many of you will be familiar with generative AI that can generate text and images. Yesterday at the dinner organized by the forum, we were treated to some wonderful Korean music. So inspired by that, I went back to my hotel room and used AI to compose music for the AI Global Forum inspired by Korean style.
Technology, we're breaking down the walls, uniting nations as one.
And it goes. And AI progress is so rapid, it lets us all do things that just were hard to imagine 1 or 2 years ago. The impact of general purpose technology, of generative AI, is impacting many different industries. My team at Deep Learning and AI Fund took some data from McKinsey and reanalyzed it, so you probably won't have seen this chart before, trying to understand what's the automation potential from generative AI on many different industries. And we see sectors like education and workforce training, business and legal professions, STEM professions, community services, and so on. Many industry sectors will be hugely impacted by AI. And this is a chart from a research paper by some friends at UPenn and some folks at OpenAI, estimating the exposure of different types of jobs to AI automation or augmentation potential. And the interesting thing about this chart is the horizontal axis is salary, going up to about $163,000 US a year, and the y-axis is the automation potential from generative AI. And you see that it's the higher wage jobs this time around, the knowledge work that is more exposed to AI automation. This is unlike earlier ways of AI where it tended to be the routine, repetitive work, maybe factory automation that was more exposed to automation. And I'm seeing a couple of things today. First, right now, at this very moment, I think every knowledge worker can gain a productivity boost by using generative AI as a brainstorming partner, to do the basic research, and so on. But most workers will need just a little bit of training to know how to use it safely and responsibly, but that productivity boost is possible today, not a month or two from now, but today. So I think this raises a challenge for governments to provide, and companies to provide upskilling for people to learn to use these things. And in addition, many of you will be familiar with using websites like ChatGPT or Gemini or Claude. But in addition to the web user interfaces, generative AI is also creating a lot of new opportunities to write new types of software applications that just were not possible and were much harder to build before. And that too, new software, not just the ChatGPT-like applications, will be an important step for how AI brings value to a lot of people. And when I speak with both governments and businesses, a question I'm often asked is people say, hey, Andrew, you say there are a lot of opportunities. Where are the biggest opportunities? So I want to share with you what I think of as the AI stack. At the lowest level is the semiconductors, very important. Often we have cloud companies building on top of that. And then AI tooling companies that sell AI technologies. And it turns out that whenever there's a new wave of technology, like there is with generative AI, the media tends to talk a lot about these layers, about the technology layers, about the tooling layers. It's fun to talk about what OpenAI or Google or NVIDIA or Samsung or SK Hynix are up to. But it turns out that while there will be opportunities in these layers, and there will be some huge winners, I think that there's another set of opportunities that's even bigger, and that's the application layer. Because almost by definition, for the technology companies at the lower layers to be successful, the application companies had better do even better and generate even more revenue so they can afford to pay the technology providers. And I think for many nations and for governments building services for citizens, a lot of the focus should be on building applications. Though I think there'll be opportunities up and down the stack. And this is why my team AI Fund, we actually end up building about one startup per month, and there are just so many things we're building. In addition to all the opportunities to build, for governments, I think we want to promote both safety and innovation. And there's one key message I hope to leave you with, which is the importance of distinguishing between applications and technology, and to regulate applications rather than technology. So here's what I mean. I'm going to draw a technology layer as well as an application layer. So let's use an example. An electric motor is a technology. We can design an electric motor, and that electric motor, which is general purpose, can go into many applications, including a blender or electric vehicle or a dialysis machine for healthcare, or a smart bomb. And if you look at each of these applications, we can ask, how do I make a blender safe? How do I make an electrical vehicle safe? In contrast, it's very difficult to say, how do I make an electric motor safe? If you try to say, I need to make an electric motor safe, you end up just building very, very small electric motors, and which is not what any of us want. So technology refers to tools that can be applied to many ways to solve many problems, and applications to specific implementations that solve particular customer needs. In the case of AI models are a technology. For example, you may have heard of large language models. This is where AI researchers use AI to read lots of text on the internet and learn to predict the next word over and over. That's a technology. And this technology can be used to build a medical device or to give medical advice, or to build a social media feed, or to build a chatbot, or to use political deepfakes. Some of these are good applications, some of these are maybe more problematic applications. But when we look at the applications, we can then figure out what are the risks, what do and do we not want in social media or in medical devices, and regulate against the actual risks. And the challenge I'm seeing for many governments is risks are a function. They depend on the application, not on the technology. And when you regulate a general purpose, if someone regulates or puts burdensome licensing requirements on a general purpose technology, like electric motors or like AI models, that tends to just slow down the technology unnecessarily, to my mind. But once you look at specific applications, then you can figure out what you do and do not want in medical devices and these other applications, and regulate against a specific concrete risk. And this will enhance safety while also not slowing down, not cutting off the source of intelligence and slowing down innovation, which is what some proposals, slowly dying, but some proposals to regulate technology, I think, would do. And just be transparent, I feel like over the last year and a half, I've been surprised at the intensity, deep intensity of some lobbying efforts against open source software. I think to promote innovation, and as well as ensure equitable access to AI, one of the most important things for all of us to do is to promote open source software. Open source refers to when developers write AI software and post it on the internet, free for anyone to use. And this is a key mechanism for research and for technology to develop and be disseminated. Unfortunately, there are some companies that would rather not compete with open source, because if you've invested a lot of money and someone open sources it, it diminishes the value of investment. And there's been intense lobbying to pass safety regulations that will stifle open source. And if these efforts succeed, I think almost everyone will be a loser, because it'll make it much more difficult for almost all businesses, almost all countries to access AI technology. So I think I've been delighted to see the number of smart government officials pushing back on this type of over-regulation. So talked about general purpose technology as well as distinguishing between application and technology. The last thing I want to leave you with is some thoughts on sustainability. So AI progress has been driven by scale. When I was leading the Google Brain team, I told my team, number one mission is let's just build really, really big neural networks. Right? And fortunately, that recipe worked. And over the last 10, 15 years, many teams are building bigger and bigger neural networks, and this has driven a lot of AI progress. Here, the x-axis is year, y-axis, the amount of compute. One thing that worries a lot of people is, given the rising energy costs of training very large AI models, is continued progress sustainable? I think it is. For at least a few more years, we can still build bigger models than we have today, but how long can it go on for? I want to share with you one very exciting technology trend that I think everyone that cares about AI should pay attention to, that gives us an alternative path to build smarter and smarter machines, but without needing to just build bigger and bigger models with more and more electricity and bigger data centers. And that's AI agentic workflows. So here's the idea. I'm going to get a little bit technical, but this is an important technology. So it turns out that the way most of us use text generation, large language models now, is you go to ChatGPT or Claude or Gemini or Llama, and you type a prompt and say, please write an essay for me on a certain topic. And that's a bit like if you go to someone or AI and say, please write an essay, typing from start to finish without ever using backspace. So you just write the essay by typing the first word all the way through to the last word. And I can't write very well like this, but despite this constraint, AI actually does remarkably well. But it turns out that one of the most exciting technologies in the AI community is AI agents, which means that we'll ask the AI, please write an essay outline for this topic. And then ask, do you need to do some research? If so, go to the web, browse some web pages, and then write a first draft. And then look at your draft and see what needs to be improved, and then revise the draft. And so this type of workflow looks more like this, with the AI think, and then revise the draft, and then after revising, go and think some more. And by iteratively working on the essay, you actually end up with a much better work output. And this is how most of us write essays as well, and we're starting to get AI to do this. And one interesting study that my team gathered data for, this is a benchmark called for coding. It's called human eval, but it's seeing how well AI can write code. So with GPT 3.5, if you use what's called zero shot, that means please type out the computer program without ever using backspace. On this benchmark, it gets 48% right. And GPT-4 is much better, 60% right. So GPT 3.5 to GPT-4 was a huge improvement in capabilities. But it turns out that if you take different AI agents or agentic AI workflow design patterns and apply them on top of GPT 3.5, it actually outperforms even GPT-4. So the improvement from GPT 3.5 to GPT-4 is dwarfed. It's actually much smaller than the improvement we get if we get an AI to think over a problem over and over, and same for GPT-4. And I think this will be one of the most important technology trends, because this, with even, and like many of you, I'm looking forward to maybe GPT-5 or, I don't know, Claude 4 or Gemini 2.0 or whatever comes next. But I think that rather than just waiting for those things, if you use today's AI models with today's electricity constraints and add these type of technologies on top, you can already get really good performance, maybe even better than what some future models could do without this type of agentic workflows. And I think this also may offer a more sustainable way to build more intelligent systems than only building bigger and bigger models, although I think we should do that too. And then I think the Prime Minister spoke about climate change. I want to just leave you with one thought. I think often we wonder if AI is the problem, but sometimes AI may not turn out to be the problem. Maybe it'll turn out to be a solution. I don't know if it'll be the case for climate change. But it turns out that I think one of the most promising options we should consider for climate change is climate geoengineering. Specifically, this technology, there's an idea called stratospheric aerosol injection, in which you spray aerosols high up in the atmosphere to reflect sunlight away from Earth. And this is like throwing up an umbrella over our planet to give ourselves more shade to cool down the planet. The science that this will cool down the average global temperature is actually very solid, but we don't understand the local effects. So some of my collaborators and I should use AI to build a climate emulator to try to understand, simulate how the climate will evolve with and without geoengineering. So we know what it is up to 2024. Without geoengineering, we end up 3.9 degrees, and we end up with about, 2.5 degrees. And I think AI climate simulations like these, I think would be critical in order to better understand solutions like geoengineering, which I think is an important potential, not sure it is, but important potential short-term amelioration of climate change that nations should seriously consider. So rather than viewing AI as the problem, which sometimes it is, to be honest, I think AI can also be a key part of the solution to this most pressing problem of our time. And just to wrap up, these were my 3 messages. I think for businesses, AI is general purpose technology. A lot of exciting work lies ahead to build applications. For governments, I hope you distinguish between technology and applications, and to promote both innovation and safety, I hope you regulate applications and not technology. And lastly, for sustainability, there's new technology, agentic AI, that I think all of us should pay attention to, as well as I hope AI can also play a role in addressing climate change. With that, let me thank you all very much.
Thank you very much for your remarkable presentation. I never forget the beautiful music he made. Yes, AI made last night after the banquet at the very beginning of his keynote speech. Thank you very much for your impressive keynote speech. Now we'll hear the next keynote speech by Dr. Marc Raibert, who is the world-renowned expert and entrepreneurs in the era of robotics and artificial intelligence. She is the executive director. He's the the Executive Director of the AI Institute, a new research lab devoted to advancing both the intelligence of robotics and their physical skills. He is also the founder of Boston Dynamics. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Dr. Marc Raibert.
I am so glad to be here. Thank you for inviting me. You know, I love robotics, and it's currently a very special time in robotics. Robots haven't ever been as exciting and as successful and as able as they are today. We still have a ways to go, but I am really enthused by all the stuff that's going on. And today I'm going to show you a little bit about what's going on. But first I want to say, you know, in the lobby of the hotel this morning, I bumped into someone I knew, and they said, so Mark, are you going to talk about robots, or are you going to talk about AI, since I have a robot hat and an AI hat? And in my mind, there's no difference between the two. Robotics is the embodied side of AI. It's the part of AI where you have a physical system, like a person is a physical system, and it's the interaction between the intelligence and the physical system that really makes it new and exciting. And I think this technology has an opportunity not only to increase productivity around the world. I think many times we focus on productivity as the main goal of robots because they could do work in factories and warehouses and places like that. But I think that robotics and AI also offer the potential to free people from doing dull, dirty, and dangerous work like many people have to do. I think, as Andrew just said, there's a chance for robotics really to solve problems. Yes, I'm sure that as we develop things, it will create problems, but I think that there's a huge opportunity, really a bigger one, to solve humanity's problems using AI and robotics. And I hope that can stay in the viewfinder over the course of the day and the follow-up meetings, and we keep that balance between opportunity and risk in mind. So with that, I thought I would talk a little bit about robots. I already said that I think that robotics and AI are really one thing, but there are kind of two parts to the solutions. One part has to do with the physicality of making robots do interesting things like get mobility and dexterity and perception and that real-time interaction. And there's an important role that we've made a lot of progress on. And then the newer part, the one that's sort of caught up in this recent wave of foundation models and generative AI, is making the robots smarter. Because to be honest, most robots today, while they might be physically able, and in some cases physically able like a person, they're still pretty stupid, and it takes a lot of work to program them and tell them what you want them to do. So I think there's an opportunity for advancing on that front, and I'll say a couple of words about that. So I'm just going to show you so much is going on today in robotics. That robot in the bottom in the middle is a Boston Dynamics robot. There's about 1,500 of them around the world, and I'll show a little clip of some of the work that that robot's doing. But recently, there's just been a springing out of other robot companies building quadruped robots. This one here has wheels on the legs. This is a little small one that's affordable for researchers at universities and things like that. It's just very exciting to go from the research lab into commercialization where lots and lots of people are getting interested. In humanoids, it's even more so, which is amazing because I think that the humanoid robots still have a ways to go before they're going to be really practical for doing work. On the other hand, there's dozens of companies trying to build humanoid robot products. These are 5 in North America, and here's 4 or 5 more in Asia. And I'm told by people at some of these factories, at some of these companies, that they expect by the end of the year to be maybe 100 companies building humanoid robots. Even though essentially none of them have done useful work yet. So what an exciting time that there's so much enthusiasm, so much funding, so much opportunity, and all we have to do is make it work. So I'm going to show a couple of clips. This is some of the things that this quadruped robot built by Boston Dynamics is being used for. That was an oil rig where it's very expensive having people, and this is a refinery where, because of its advanced mobility, the robot can carry sensors and do routine inspections that really aren't getting done enough in order to make sure the place works right. This is at a power generation facility where you can't have humans while they're operating. This is an integrated circuit factory in Vermont where the robot's used to make sure that equipment doesn't fail before it gets repaired and diagnosed. And they can be used to build digital twins that allow automation and measuring progress. And they're also being used at nuclear facilities. These were some experiments done at Chernobyl a couple of years ago in order to do radiation measurements where it was too dangerous to send people. And I'm really delighted that SPOT helped the Japanese people who were rehabilitating, or I guess they were decommissioning the reactors at Fukushima in order to get into reactor 4 that hadn't been entered for 11 years after the disaster, and it was able to go up some stairs, open some doors, so that they could get some data about the status of that reactor. So there's just a big variety. There's dozens and dozens of applications that robots like this can be used for. This is sort of a clip that shows some of the athleticism in a robot that Boston Dynamics built. This is the Atlas robot. Many of you have probably seen these clips on YouTube. And this is designed to show the dynamic control of the robot, AI that's doing perception on the environment, navigation, and tasks like that. But more recently, we've started working on things that are more like applications. So here's the robot is selecting parts from fixtures, doing navigating in the workshop there, lining them up on tables. Some of these parts are car parts. In order to do this, the robot has to be able to control its body. It uses cameras to have visual perception. It has to do dexterity, where it uses its hands in order to grasp the parts and manipulate them. Here the robot's using its strength to lift this wheel rim, which is pretty heavy, and it's able to take it and place it on the table. And this next shot is going to show a task that's very similar to one that goes on in car factories called sequencing, where actual car parts are selected from single SKU, and then they're prepared in order to be used by people who are going to assemble the vehicles once the car comes down the assembly line. So, you know, this isn't ready to go into a factory today, but it's not hard to imagine that in a very short time, we'll be able to get the speed and the performance up so that this thing could be used in order to do work and increase productivity and things like that. And then Boston Dynamics recently showed this new version of their Atlas robot. This is the only clip that's been out there so far, but it's a very unique design, and it's got a huge potential, and I can't wait until we can bring one here on the stage and show you all what it can do. So it's not hard to imagine with that starting point that someday we'll have factories and warehouses that have all these robots working together along with people, doing things like keeping track of all the parts that go into an assembly, manipulate those parts, locomote with those parts, handle some parts the humans can't handle because the robot's stronger, and then use what's become more traditional robotics in order to assemble those things into products. Now, I said I was going to talk a little bit not only about the athletic side of things, and most of what I just showed is on the athletic side, but what about the cognitive side, meaning making robots smarter? To do each of those demonstrations required a whole room of very skilled programmers and engineers in order to analyze the task, weeks and months of programming in order to get the robots to do each task. Well, we're imagining a day when you can teach the robot to do things the way we would teach you to do things, on-the-job training, where you say to the robot, go watch that man do his job, understand what you see him doing, and then do it yourself. Now, I don't have time to unpack that watch, understand, do. There's a lot there, but we have groups at the AI Institute working on attacking this problem and coming up with solutions and doing laboratory work to demonstrate results. Here's the robot doing the task. Oop. And here's a domestic version of that task. You know, I don't know how many of us watched our parents cooking a meal and then figuring out how to do it themselves, determining the dexterity skills that are required, the navigation, the ingredients, and all that kind of stuff. But that's part of the thing too. This is a good example of separating the application from the technology. I believe that technology for watch, understand, do will be applicable to all kinds of domestic, consumer, industrial, safety applications. This is the next step after that. Inspect, diagnose, fix. Right now, Spot is in a factory that looks just like that, collecting data from robots, but humans analyze the data and then humans figure out how to repair the machines. But I don't see any reason why, by combining the kind of generative models that Andrew was talking about with the physicality of the robots, we can't have robots diagnosing the machines themselves, figuring out how to repair them, and then eventually repairing them. Now, this is still science fiction today. It's going to take some more investment and years and innovation before we get there, but I'm really excited about being on that path. Here's the domestic version of Inspect, Diagnose, Fix. And then finally, I'll mention what we call help. Some people look at this picture and say, oh, you want robots to help your elderly and disabled people? But I think this could be a real boon to humanity to have more help in the homes, not be so dependent on our children or on strangers taking care of our loved ones. And my expectation is that people will welcome this technology once it's safe enough and available enough to actually use. And we have a plan to do a simpler version of help. I get email all the time from people in wheelchairs who would like to go out on a hike out in the woods. And I think it's possible to take something like those legged robots and build a machine that could take someone out on a hiking trail. Maybe not stepping stones across the river on the first case, but eventually I hope to get there. And I just want to close with one more comment about creativity. I think that AI and robotics is a huge opportunity and driver for creativity. Not only is there the creativity of the engineers who design these systems, who test them, who build them, but eventually the robots themselves and the AI itself will have creativity. I mean, Andrew stole my thunder a little bit by doing a real-time demo of an AI-generated song. Here's one that we had humans program. But I don't think we should lose sight of this aspect of the whole endeavor, that it's an opportunity for people and machines to be creative. Eventually, I want to come back here with robots and humans dancing together to live music, maybe live music that's being created by a mixture of people and robots. And I think there's a great, rich future from this kind of work. So thank you for listening.
Feel the rather listen to music. Thank you very much. Why don't you give another big round of applause? Thank you. Thank you so much for your informative and remarkable presentation to showcase the new world with AI robotics. Thank you so much. Distinguished guests from home and abroad, let's now conclude the opening. Once again, I would like to thank everyone present here and also those watching the forum live online. After a short break, the high-level roundtables will commence at 10 in the morning. Session 1 will be held in the International Cooperation Center in the Convention Hall on the first floor. Session 2 will take place here in this building in the conference room on the fourth floor. And Session 3 will be presented in Meeting Room 1 and 2 of International Cooperation Center. Both the Convention Hall and Meeting Rooms 1 and 2 are located in the separate building, the International Cooperation Building, which is approximately a 1-minute walk from here. If you encounter any difficulty finding the conference room or building, please do not hesitate to let our staff know. And please note that only delegates with a floating pass, head of delegation, and speakers will have access to each roundtable session. Other delegates are welcome to remain here at the Johnson Auditorium for high-level roundtable 1 listening room. And the high-level roundtables will be followed by the expert sessions in the afternoon. Please note that forum will end without the closing ceremony. Once again, thank you very much for your participation. 감사합니다.
Thank you.